Welcome to the Gilded Monocles tutorial on steampunk jewelry. In this tutorial, we're going to use blue jeans, copper tubing, and some other media to create a neat little steampunk necklace. Now, the first thing you're going to need is a pipe cutter that you can get from your local hardware store like Home Depot or Lowe's, and a piece of copper tubing. And basically, you'll spend about $4 on the copper tubing and should be under $30 for the pipe cutter. You're just going to open up the pipe cutter to fit the size of pipe that you got. And you're just going to move it around. There's a razor blade in there, so be very careful. Just twist the pipe, and eventually you'll just have to tighten it up again with the little dial, as you can see, and then you just twist it more, and then eventually it'll just snap. So you just keep twisting around until you get, we're using about an inch or so of copper tubing here. It's really up to you. You can make it any size that you want. I would keep it under 2 inches. If you can, but again, up to you. So once you get the pipe cut, you go ahead and break the piece off here, and then you're going to get a rasp or a file of some sort and just get the kind of rough edges off. You don't need to go over it a lot because you're going to use a finer grade of sandpaper and a finer the Dremel and some other things to actually grind down the other edges. So the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and attach the rougher sandpaper bit for the Dremel, which usually comes standard with the Dremel if you got the kit. It's just a medium grade sandpaper, and you'll just go ahead and go around the edges, kind of get inside the pipe here. Make sure that there's nothing really rough. Be careful when you rub your finger across it. You don't want to get any splinters. Then you'll go ahead and attach the finer grade sanding, and then before though, we're going to use a jeweler sanding rasp or file. And I'm using the number 6 just to kind of get in the edges here, just to get those large chunks out, and that kind of helps. Makes it a little bit quicker. And you just sort of sand around, get all these little metal, you just want to make sure you don't have any metal splinters that can catch on someone's clothes or, damage a piece of the jewelry or clothing. So you just kind of go around the edge just a little bit, and we'll buff this out even further. We're just going to start and just get some of the pieces out. As you can see here, I'm using the Euro Tool file set. You can get them for about $7, and it comes with several different filings. Now we're going to use the kind of buffing bit on the Dremel. And you can either use this, or you can use, as you can see in the background, the gray sandpaper or the finer sandpaper bit. It's really up to you. If you go over it with the file pretty well, you won't need to use the gray sandpaper, but I mean, you can just alternate between each bit. You want it smooth. You don't want to have any jagged edges. So you just kind of go over that and just make sure that you get it all smoothed out. And it's always a good idea to sort of blow it up with an air compressor once you get done, or if you don't have one, can of air will work too, just to make sure you don't miss anything, because the pieces of metal, the scrap, can actually adhere to it. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get a regular Sharpie, and you're going to design a pattern. What I'm doing here is just long strokes with a Sharpie, and in between each pattern I leave a space. Now the neat thing that's going to happen, what we're going to do is we're going to cover this with our marking here and the Sharpie, and we're going to get some etching solution, which you can get for under about $10 at Radio Shack. And you have to be careful with it because it is a type of acid. It's ferric chloride. And what's going to happen though is when we draw this on the Sharpie and we set it in the solution of the etching solution, it's actually going to etch or create some dimension by setting the Sharpie markings in with the solution. So whatever is drawn will actually sink in or be etched into the metal. So the parts that you want to be pronounced or to stand up, you want to leave blank or to not mark on, and the parts that you want actually to be indented, you use the Sharpie. And you can see here I just did kind of a, sorry about that, dot and dash pattern. You can do any pattern you want. It's really up to you. So once you get the pattern, you just kind of let it dry, make sure you get all of it, and I'm just kind of showing you the pattern here. And you might want to go in and add some more detail to it, like I'm going to do here. Just a few more like a few more lines and just really darken it up so you can get more of a pronounced etching and you'll see a little bit better. And you just want to let that dry for a little bit. And there's our little pattern. And then you're going to take it into the solution with the ferric oxide, or I'm sorry, the ferric chloride, and you're just going to pour it in there. You make sure you use gloves because you don't want this stuff on your skin. And so you're just going to pour some of that into the little plastic cup here, and then you'll leave that to sit for a couple hours. So when you pour the solution, just cover the copper tubing. You don't need to pour any more than that. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel and look for the next video.